This is Jamie Drummond for Good Food Revolution with a bit of a bad head today, it appears. Just noticed that. I am here with Mika Bareket, who is joining us all the way from the cozy environs of Kensington Market in Toronto. How are you today?
I'm swell. Thank you. How are you, Jamie?
I am fantastic. Very nice to see you. We're here today to congratulate you on your return to a bricks and mortar store in Kensington Market. That is, of course, the wondrous Good Egg bookstore. For those people unfamiliar with Good Egg, please give us a little bit of the potted history of Good Egg.
Well, we were open for 10 years at a slightly different location in Kensington Market and focus on cookbooks and kitchen supplies and gifts that are food related and fun related. And we've recently reopened a couple blocks south of where we used to be. It's our third month back.
Fantastic, fantastic. Now, you actually closed for a period. I remember I thought the world was going to hell in a handbasket. Trump elected in 2016, and then 2018, Good Egg closed up shop. What happened there?
I didn't like Trump.
All right, that was it. You just decided.
No. I mean, the world, it was feeling like it was coming to hell in some respects, and it certainly has in many. I couldn't secure a lease that I was comfortable with.
Right.
The properties in Kensington Market are very old and well used and crumbling, and we had all sorts of problems with the structure of the building. And I thought I would just try my luck elsewhere. Meanwhile, we shut down and the pandemic started, and it just didn't seem like the right time to start up again. So it was a longer than expected hiatus.
Now, throughout this hiatus, you were not really resting on your laurels. You were, well, apart from repairing your home, you started up a publishing house, did you not?
I did. Yeah, I got sick of baking muffins every day.
Right, right, okay.
Yeah, and the home renovation was about a year and a half long project, and then I was done and ready for something else, and had always been talking to Jennifer McLagan about doing a little book on blood, and decided to give it a go. We both had the time and the focus to really dig into it, and we got it done fairly quickly. And again, because of COVID, held it back a little bit, held the publication back a bit until it felt like it wasn't in bad taste to release a book on blood.
Right.
And then the wheels started turning, and I started contacting more people about doing other books, and now we've got 2 books published and 3 or 4 more on the way.
Now, the second book is by your old friend Corey Mintz, who's away out in Winnipeg, and he chose, well, the 2 of you chose the topic of limes. What's the story behind that?
It was actually my suggestion because I've been to his house a number of times, and I noticed a common theme in a lot of his cooking was just a nice spritz of lime. He makes things that are from the Latin perspective and a lot of
Right.
Asian dishes, and limes always seem to be the common denominator in a lot of his cooking. And I wanted to publish books that focus on ingredients that are very inexpensive but impactful, and limes encapsulate that to me. So it was just a whim, and he liked the idea and went with it.
So getting back to the blood aspect, when you speak about blood, you're talking about its use in gastronomy. So boudin noir, black pudding, blood sausage, all of those wonderful things.
Yeah, those are the traditional ways of using blood, but Jennifer experimented with blood as a replacement for egg in a lot of
Oh,
baking,
wow. Okay.
muffins, pancakes, brownies, macaron, marshmallow, which turn a lovely shade of pink
Huh, I
when
can
you
imagine.
substitute the
Yeah.
egg for the blood. So in some ways, blood is a replacement for people who are egg intolerant.
But are perfectly fine with pig's blood.
Go figure.
Yeah, yeah.
This can happen. This can happen. They're very niche cookbooks.
Right.
They're the blood book I think appeals more to chefs
Yeah.
who are looking to use every part of the animal and be less wasteful, and also challenge themselves with creativity. Blood's a great thickener as well. You can use it to thicken a stew or soup instead of cheese or flour or roux. And it's plentiful, and it usually is just discarded.
Yeah.
It also has a slight peppery flavor, so it can add a je ne sais quoi to certain savory dishes. And Jennifer had a lot of research to back up using this ingredient as well from a nutritional point of view.
Our 7-year-old son, to this very day, his favorite thing to eat is Portuguese, well, Azorean blood sausage. And that's been since he's been around maybe 1.5, 2 years old. And, you know, I don't know any other way of getting such a great intake of iron into a young boy's body, but that's one of his favorite things to eat.
Wow, wow, wow. Yeah, doesn't surprise me coming from you.
Exactly, exactly. I grew up on black pudding, right? So,
Yeah,
um,
yeah. Exposure.
what else do you have in the hopper when it comes to books?
We're working on our next book, which is about tender herbs. So the softer herbs like parsley, cilantro, basil, and dill. And Amy Rosen is the author.
All right.
We should have that one out in the spring in time for tulips. We're working on a baking book using alternative flours, and also on the effects of charring your food, a separate title on the effects of charring your food, written by a journalist. I'm very excited about that one. And then there are a few others sort of in discussions, but nothing firm beyond those three.
Now, getting back to Good Egg, the bricks and mortar store, how has the book retail environment changed since you departed in 2018?
So when we were open when we were first open, most of our customers were chefs. There was a hunger for learning in the Toronto, at least, chef industry. And I would say that at least 60% of our book sales were to restaurant staff,
Right.
industry. That has completely shifted. We've either oversaturated the market or chefs are quitting their jobs. I think probably
Probably
both.
both, yeah.
But now most of our customers are home cooks. A few retired chefs, but mainly young home cooks and more experienced home cooks who are looking for some fresh ideas and to change things up because they've been in a bubble for the last couple of years and are tired of their regular repertoire and want to expand.
I guess that cookbooks have kind of changed as well over that time.
Yeah, absolutely. And they're reflecting these tastes for home cooking as well. They're even some of the best known chefs, David Chang and Otto Lengi, they're writing simplified cookbooks and sort of staff meal cookbooks and what
Yes.
we eat at home, debunking a lot of the myths. David Chang's book is full of recipes using your microwave. He's completely championing cooking in half the time, a third the time, using
Yeah.
less ingredients, using your microwave to actually improve some of your cooking. Got a recipe on breaking down rice that he claims you can really only do in the microwave. You don't get the same results any other way. So yeah, it's there's been a shift towards the home cook with not a lot of time as
Right.
well, and maybe limited pantry ingredients, which a lot of us were tackling during the pandemic, using what we have, being more economical with our pantry.
Speaking of the pandemic, you've been in Kensington Market for much of your life. How has the pandemic impacted the market?
Well, in a lot of ways, over the summers, the market became a refuge for people who couldn't travel. It was sort of a travel destination within the city.
Right.
And people would come here and hang out all day and sometimes sleep over in the park. And sometimes maybe they'd camp out in the park permanently,
Oh,
which is,
yes, yes, I remember this. Yes.
yeah, there's still a few tents set up. The neighborhood is conflicted, to say the least, about this, but it's a safe place.
And how has the pandemic impacted business there? Businesses, should I say?
Horribly, horribly. I think probably some of the grocers had improved sales at certain points.
Mhm.
Some of the very savvy grocers. I haven't asked to look at their accounts, but just based on the lineups that I'd see day to day, there were people queuing around the corner for Sannigan's and Blackbird Bakery, and some of the produce shops were seeing a bit of a surge. But in the summer, it's really a more of a party zone, and the grocers for the last 10 years anyhow have not done great business in the summertime. It's mostly the cafe and bar industry, and this year so many of them were allowed to have patios on the
Oh,
sidewalks,
yes,
and
yes.
yeah, and I think it really saved those businesses from going under. So yeah, it's not great. Business is not incredible, but it's starting to pick up a little bit. And the holidays always are a nice time for the merchants in the neighborhood. People stocking up for Christmas
Of
and
course.
getting groceries and sort of one-stop shopping, which is really convenient for a lot of people. And we'll see what kind of new business emerges in the new year when inevitably more restaurants and cafes will have to shutter, and maybe some of the dispensaries that are overlapping one another.
Yes, so I've heard. They have a proliferation of dispensaries all over the city right now.
Yeah, yeah, there's a really high density here, and it's impossible that they're all going to survive. So I'm curious to see what kind of new business will emerge to replace them.
Now, you've moved just down the street, closer to the park now with your new store, right?
Yeah, we're just half a block south of Bellevue Square Park.
And have many of your old customers rediscovered you?
They have slowly but surely. The part of the neighborhood we're in does not see a lot of casual traffic, pedestrian traffic. It's more of a destination, and I'm amazed at how many people have taken the time to come down and visit us. Every day I see a new old familiar face. It's exactly why we reopened. We missed people. We
I'm
missed our
sure.
regular customers who are customers slash friends at this point. It's been lovely.
And what are the hottest cookbooks for the holiday season?
Baking,
Right?
any manner of baking book. I've seen such a surge in cookie books. Um,
Ebooks, okay.
every cookie book we have is our hottest book.
Okay.
Otto Lengi's Shelf Love.
Hmm.
I suspect that's going to be a popular item under the tree for a lot of people this year. Nigel Slater's new book, A Cook's Book, will be my top recommendation.
Okay, you've always been a
Um,
huge fan, right?
oh yeah, and
You and me
this one
both,
is
yeah.
just gorgeous. It's maybe his best yet.
Oh,
I'm
great. Okay.
very smitten with it. I'll be bringing a copy of that home. I've been very restrained, Jamie. I have not been bringing books home every day. I'm going to be shopping at Christmas like everybody else and making my 2 or 3 picks, and it'll be Nigel and probably another baking book this year, and then something spicy. A lot of great Filipino cookbooks this year. A lot of Eastern European cookbooks,
Mhm.
just areas that have been neglected for many years. African cookbooks, native cookbooks. I'm really excited to explore all
I'm
these
just
different cuisines.
I'm just dabbling in the Latin American cookbook, which is another big title for me this year.
Oh, that's a beauty.
Yeah,
How are you
yeah.
liking it?
It's good. It's a very handsome book. I love the art design of it, and the detail in it is really quite fantastic. I get a bit intimidated by going into Latin American cuisine because I don't know that much about it, but it's it's quite a welcoming book. It makes you feel at home and I look quite comfortable.
Nice, nice. Yeah, it's a pretty one.
Now, I hope to be able to come to visit you sometime before Christmas because one of my favorite things about the festive season was having a few drinks in Toronto, wobbling about Kensington Market, coming into your store, spending much more money than I could afford on little gifts and trinkets, some for myself, some from Santa to me, and a good few books. So hopefully I'll have a chance to do that. But thank you so much for joining us at Good Food Revolution today. Great to see your smiling face, and we'll catch up very soon.
Thank you so much, Jamie.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.